Hi everyone! I'm excited to tell you about this week's challenge because I think you're really going to enjoy it. So together we are going to be creating geometric turtles. Now geometric means it's got shapes or it's got lots of straight lines in it. So we're going to use all of these straight lines and all of these shapes to create our turtle together. For this challenge you will need a piece of paper and a pencil. It's also really helpful if you've got a rubber and a sharpener. You will need a ruler or something with a really straight edge to create all of our lines together. And then you will need something to colour it in with, and you could choose pencils, pens, paint, whatever you fancy. If you want to do something different to a turtle, it's really helpful to find a picture of it so that you can get the shape that you want. Because whenever I'm drawing something, I always have a little look at the picture just to make sure I'm using the right shapes. If you do choose something different though, make sure it's a really simple shape that's not too complicated. Otherwise it will get really, really difficult when we try and create geometric patterns inside it. I want to have my turtle swimming diagonally across my page, so I'm just going to tilt my page to make it a little bit easier to do. So I'm going to start off with the shell, and I want to really fill my page but leave enough space for my fins. So I'm going to have a bit of a bump at the front. I'm going to curve outwards, and then it's got quite a pointy sort of bottom of the shell. And I'm looking to try and get it as symmetrical as I possibly can. Not perfectly symmetrical, but that's close enough. And then my turtle head, it's a little bit wider at the bottom. And then it comes out slightly for the eyes. And then it's got a gently pointed sort of beak on the end. There we go. I think I might have made it come out a little bit too far, but that's fine. Then for my fins, I'm going to curve them down this way. I'm going to try and get these symmetrical as well, but they don't have to be because their fins could be in different positions. It's up to you. And then they're a little bit straighter on the inside edge. They've not got as much of a curve there. And they've got a nice rounded tip. And then the back flippers here are quite straight on this top surface. And then they've almost got, it's called a scalloped edge. They've got some bumps going in. I'm going to do those bumps going in. Okay, and I've forgotten one last little thing. Tiny little tail. Okay, so that's all we're going to do in terms of detail. So I'm not going to do any eyes or patterns yet because we're going to do our geometric shapes for that. Now, because I want to be able to see my geometric lines really clearly, I'm going to give all of this a little bit of a rub with my rubber just to get these lines quite nice and pale so that I can go over them and it's really clear what the new lines I've drawn are. Don't worry if you haven't got a rubber because you can skip that step if you need to. So now what we're going to do is the outline of our turtle. Now we want to make sure that there are no curved lines anywhere on this shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler, it's tricky because I'm trying to do it with one hand, and we're going to do a straight line that follows the curved line that we've drawn, and then we're going to move our ruler to do the next straight line. And by doing lots and lots of these straight lines, it's going to turn into a curve all the way around. So keep going until you've done all the way around your shell. And then we're going to do the same on the head and the fins and the tail of our turtle. So you get your ruler. And really it's up to you when you stop your line and you change your ruler. All you want to do is make sure that they're all really straight, but that you're roughly following the shapes of your animal. So keep going until you've done all of those parts of your turtle. Okay, so hopefully you have a turtle that's got all of the outlines in all of these straight lines joined together. Now we're going to create our geometric patterns on the inside, and we want to fill the inside of all of these with those patterns. And it's a bit like doing a spelling scribble. I don't know if you've ever created one of those before. So we're just going to make sure that the whole thing's been divided up. Now I might start with a big triangle in the middle of my shell. You can do any shape you want. This is your turtle. And then what I'm going to do is from the edges, from the vertices, of that triangle, I'm going to have another line coming off. So from this vertex here, I'm going to have a straight line. Yeah, I'm going to go all the way to the edge, why not? And I'm going to have another one coming off that vertex as well. I'm going to do the same off this vertex. Straight line going towards the edge. The same over here. So it's up to you how you'd like your turtle to look. You could do, because I'm doing quite large shapes at the moment, you could do big shapes like mine. Or you could split it into lots and lots of smaller shapes. It is completely up to you. Okay, so once we've filled our shell with patterns, we're going to do the same for our fins and for our head. Now we don't have as much room inside those, so we might not be able to get quite as many shapes in there. I'm going to do the same thing though. I'm going to look for a tiny little vertex. Can you see those two lines there have joined? I'll look for a tiny vertex around the corner and have my lines coming off from there. I do think triangles look quite pleasing, so if you want to, you could take your line from the next vertex and join it up to the first one that you drew. And let's go this one to this one. Okay. So keep going with that until you've finished all of your fins, and then we'll do our head together. If you have any of your shapes that you want to make smaller, you can always look for two of the vertices inside to join together. So here I've got something that's very close to being a quadrangle, shape with four sides. I'm going to see if I can turn it into something that's more like two triangles. So from this vertex to this vertex, and there we go, I've split it into two smaller shapes. So let's do our head together. So I'm going to look for those vertices again, join them up to each other. The nice thing about this is that we might all decide to join completely different lines. So ours will all end up looking completely different, which is really exciting. I'm going to give it a few smaller shapes on its nose. So I'm going to go from this one here down. I'm going to do the same here. Okay. Now when you're ready and you're happy with all of the shapes that you've got inside your turtle, we're going to think about a simple background. Now because my turtle's swimming in water at the moment, I'm going to create something that looks a little bit like the sea. So I'm going to do lots of lines running across my background, but I don't want them completely straight, I want them to look a bit wavier, so I'm going to put them on an angle. And I'm going to draw along, and every time I get to a part of my turtle, I'm going to stop and take my pencil off and then start on the other side of that part. So it looks as though these lines will be going behind my turtle. Oh, try and keep your ruler still so your lines stay straight. Okay. And I'm going to take my ruler off and I'm going to do my next one. Now, instead of doing it diagonal this way again, I'm going to turn it and I'm going to do it diagonal the other way. The same thing, stop when I hit my turtle, take my pencil off. Stop when I hit him. There we go. Let's have another one here. So this is almost like a big zigzag pattern. I'm just not having my zigzags join up at the edge of the paper. One of the most important things when we're using a ruler is that we keep our ruler pushed down so it doesn't move around when we're trying to draw our straight line with it. There we go, we are ready to colour in. So to colour our turtles, we want to get a contrast between the turtle and the background. Now a contrast is when you put two things next to each other that are very different, that are almost opposite. So we're going to contrast our colour today, and we're going to fill our turtle with lots of hot colours and our background with lots of cool, cold colours. So for my hot colours, you can see I've chosen lots of reddy pinks, oranges and some yellows. And then for my cool colours, I've got some turquoise, some greens, blues, greys. Now what we're going to do is you're going to do each shape in its own colour and just see how many different colours from that group you can get. So I'm going to start off with a nice purpley shade of pink. And remember some of our skills we've been practising from before. If you put your pencil slightly on its side, it's a lot easier to shade than if you're trying to do it pointing downwards. And can you see I'm changing the angle of my pencil as well? So if I get to a line, I'm changing it so that my hand's moving this way along the line. If you're trying to colour up to a line neatly like this, I'm just always going to go over it. It's going to be impossible to keep that neat. Okay, then choose your next colour from your warm group to do your next shape. Keep going with this until you've filled up your turtle with all of your hot colours. Keep going with this until you've filled up your turtle with all of your hot colours. Once you've done all of the hot colours from your group, but if you've still got shapes left, you can just carry on using the same colours again. But try not to put the same colour in a shape next to one where you've already used it. Otherwise you can't see the shapes as clearly. Try and find another spot that's a little bit further away or that's only touching on its vertex. Okay, so once you've finished filling your turtle with all of your hot colours, it's time to start our background. Now this bit you need to pay quite close attention to because we want to make sure that we have these stripes running across our background. So can you see this shape here? I want that to be the same colour as this shape here. And the same down here. This part I want to be the same colour as these two pieces because they're in the same stripe. So choose your colour and get started, but look out carefully to make sure that you're using the same colour for each stripe. A little tip to help you, if you're colouring along a really long straight line and it's difficult for you to hold your hand in that position, just turn your page so that you can easily move your hand up and down when you're colouring along that edge. If you've got a really big piece of paper, this might take you quite a long time. So it's okay to stop this and have a little rest and carry on later in the day or carry on another day. It's much better to take your time to do something like this, but do it really nicely than to rush it because you're getting tired or you're getting bored. Thank you for drawing along with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed creating your geometric turtle picture, and please send me a photograph of how you got on, because I would love to see your version of it and to see all the colours and the shapes that you chose to create. Happy drawing! Bye!